Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. All right, guys, it is Tuesday. The Cowboys will be back at practice today, of course, at the Star. The team, of course, had their opening ceremonies yesterday at the Star, basically training camp 2, with a few practices that will be opened to the public. And my buddy Ari Temkin, who now does the pregame show for the Dallas Cowboys on the Fan. Him and I will be doing some work and stuff later on this week. He can give us the sights and sounds of what it's actually like being at practice at the Star. Ari, you know I envy what you're doing there, buddy. But look out for it, brother. So, guys, we are 19 days, 8 hours, 16 minutes, and 45 seconds away from kickoff against the Carolina Panthers. I don't know about you, but I literally cannot wait to get the football season going, man. You know, a lot of people say we need to do away with preseason. You can't have these games and stuff, but I'm sorry. Unless you want Sunday street ball like when I grew up, you need to practice. You need to hit. You need to have games. Now, I know maybe 4 games are too much because the first game, your starters only play about a series. The second game, your starters might play a quarter or a half. Third game, they'll play a little bit into the third quarter. Fourth game, it's just guys that are doing tryouts for other teams. You know, I've gone on record saying the best thing the NFL can do, and I'm going to keep putting it out there, is they need to expand the rosters. If you have more players out there, you have more players in your system that are working on a regular basis, so when you do lose guys, you're not just grabbing somebody off the streets who may not be in shape, who may not know your system. It will improve the quality of football, it'll take some of the pressure off of the teams, and it will definitely make a better game. But be that as it may. We've got Zach Martin, who is rehabbing his knee. No structural damage, but definitely tweaked it a little bit. Hopefully he'll be okay for the kickoff against Carolina. And then we have, before I move on from Zach Martin, immediately when you get hurt, when you hurt a knee, yeah, everything goes to your mind. It's like, oh, the season's done. I got to rehab. I'm going to let my guys down. Because that's the worst thing about being injured, is letting your team down. And Zach Martin said yesterday, basically after he got hurt, you never want to be out, but if you have to be, this is the time of year to do it. So yeah, he's right, during preseason. So if you're gonna miss a couple of weeks, let's miss it in preseason. But he also said that he didn't want to let down the team. He didn't want to let down Jerry Jones after signing that big contract. And that's a guy who truly loves the sport. Because a lot of people are like, hey, shoot, I can kick back now and cash my checks. But that's not Zach Martin. Travis Frederick went to see another specialist yesterday on the neck stingers, and there's no guarantee that he'll be ready for the starting, the opener against Carolina. So we have some concerns without a doubt, and of course we know safety. We've got Kevon Frazier starting for Xavier Woods, and we signed Dominic Sanders, undrafted rookie, led University of Georgia in interceptions and holds the school record with 16. But I'm not sure I'm ready to bank the whole season on an undrafted rookie. Let's face it, football is a war of attrition. You're going to lose guys. We've had all 3 safeties have some kind of a nicked up or injury already, and we haven't gotten to week 1. I love what Chris Richard is bringing to our Cowboys. Chris Richard, I love his attitude, I love his energy, and I love his mentality. He's almost like a throwback. When asked what he wants in a safety, his number 1 response, I want a guy who can hit and cover deep. That's it. That's the list. I truly believe if we can get a lights out safety or lights out safety play and control the middle of the field, which we have not done in forever, we have as good a chance as anybody to make a run to the Super Bowl. I'm not trying to blow smoke up our butt, but when you look at our teams where we had 2014, our offense, one of the better offenses in the NFL, great regular season record, but it was the defense that let us down. Our defense, which has been the redheaded stepchild that we got to protect. We got to hold on to the ball so our defense stays off the field. I'm tired with that bull crap. I want a defense that's the big brother. I want the defense to say, here's the football. Do something with it. I want the defense that when the game's on the line and Aaron frickin' Rodgers has the ball, that they go out there and they knock his head off. That's the kind of defense I want. We got some dogs. We got some guys that are hungry. But just like when you're cooking a dish, there's always one ingredient that binds all those flavors, all those ingredients together and makes perfection. That's what a safety is. And you can't just take a guy, oh, he's a cornerback, we'll make him safety. It doesn't work. Too many times the Cowboys have screwed up guys by trying to take him for one thing and doing the thing that they do good and say, yeah, well, forget about that. We want you to do this instead. And they end up being a bust. And then they go someplace else and they play really well because they realize we're going to go back to the things that you do well. And if you don't know, cornerback is not safety. Cornerback is the guy that stays clean. I'm going to cover this guy one-on-one. I'm going to talk a little bit of trash and things, but I'm not getting my jersey dirty. Safety is blue collar, lunch pail type guy. A guy who gets down and dirty. A guy who puts his nose in there. A guy who says, this is my house. And you're not getting by me. I will take your freaking head off. And we need that guy. We ain't had that guy in a long, long, long time. So, speaking of taking guys and being the mad scientists that the Dallas Cowboys are and trying to make them something that they're not, brings me to Rico Gathers. We've heard so much about Rico's football IQ, his blocking ability, and so on and so forth. But what I see is a guy who can catch the ball in a multitude of ways. We saw him in the Ram game, perfect stride, hands out here. We've seen him in practice, one-handed catches, kind of like an alley-oop play. We saw him literally take an interception out of the guy's hands by going over top of him. And I don't know why they don't show that highlight. I've been looking on Bleacher Report and everything else, and all. It's kind of like that just disappeared. But to be able to jump up, over, grab a football without pass interference, and take it literally out of the guy's hands, you got to find a way to use that. When we've seen so many times Terrence Williams, the body catcher, the invasion of the body catcher, bounce balls off his body to interceptions. When we've seen times where the ball has bounced off of Dez Bryant's face mask. You kidding me? You telling me you can't find a place for a guy that can jump over a guy and take an interception out of his hands? You can't find a place for that? A couple of plays? Now, Rico, to his credit, says, I'm trying to stay off of social media and try and focus on football, which, hey, I'm great. I'm grateful for it. Don't need a competition. He's trying to focus on football and being the best player that he can be. And I love that. And the Cowboys are rewarding him with the opportunity, because of the hard work, of getting some first team reps. And more than likely, we'll see a lot of play with him this weekend against the Cardinals. And it'll be interesting to see how he does with the first team and with Dak Prescott. I'm as excited as can be. So that's where we stand this Tuesday morning. The Cowboys, of course, are back on the field at the Star practicing. I think there's a full padded practice today. And my buddy Ari Temkin, of course, I'm going to try and do something with him later on this week, doing the pregame show for the Cowboys on the Fan. Want to get him in and get his thoughts on the sights and sounds of working at the Star. So as always, friends, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. I'll see you soon.